Hi everyone, Dr. Gillespie here to give you an overview of your developmentally appropriate practice project that is due in week 6. So give me just a second, I'm going to flip my camera over and we will discuss that project. So in week 3, there are directions, an overview of the directions for this project and some tutorials to help you with Snagit and uploading it to YouTube and all these things that we will be doing, that technology aspect that we're adding in. This folder is also in week 6 and the tutorials are also there as well to help you when you get there. So you can look in week 3 and week 6. But in week 3, I'm going to click on the overview, and you have 2 directions and rubric type things, and then you also have your tutorials. I cannot say that right now. Now, the tutorials are going to be very, very helpful for you. However, I can't make a universal video to show you all how to use Snagit or all how to upload from Snagit to YouTube because it depends on the platform that you're using. So if you're using a Mac or an Apple or a Windows, you have different tutorials for how to use the software to upload your video like I'm making now to the Blackboard discussion board. So in Snagit, in the Snagit link, right here, there are tons of tutorials that tell you how to do everything you need with videos and all of this. But like I said, it all depends on what program that you're using. So if you're a Mac or a Windows, and then there's even a place down here at the bottom that says you're not sure which version that you're using. So in Snagit, I can show you this. Let me get to that. If you come up here to the top and you go to About Snagit, it will tell you the version that you're using right here. So I'm using version 4.1.5. So it does tell me that. So I could go in and I could use that version. So I could come up here and go, okay, I'm using version 4, so I can go to tutorials and it's going to show me. And scroll down and look because it has so much. It tells you how to capture your screen, how to share it, how to make videos, how to manage, how to edit. It has so much information. And it has even more information as you go down to the bottom. There's so many things you can do with Snagit. So you can get creative if you just want to make the basic video like I'm making now where you're just doing the PowerPoint. That's fine too. But you can go as comfortable or as uncomfortable as you want to. Just try your hardest. And as long as you have a video and we can hear you, that's the most important part at the beginning. We'll show you a lot more of things you can do when you get into the educational technology core, but just getting your feet wet at the moment. So very helpful link. So I would keep this as well for other courses. So for this project in general, I've kind of already told you that you are going to be using Snagit to present this project. So I just downloaded your guidelines, which are popping up. And as our course is moving really, really quickly, right now we are only on early childhood, but before you know it, we're going to be completely all the way through adolescence in week 5, and then you have your project. But I want you to go ahead and start thinking about what educational setting you are in at this current time so that you can apply what you're going to be reading to your current educational setting. So this project is using all the things that we've talked about and read and interacted with our virtual child, everything that we've been doing. So your developmentally appropriate practice project is just you applying everything. And when I say developmentally appropriate practice, I want you to know that this is an approach to teaching that's grounded in research. So it's best teaching practices and strategies and methods and ways of engagement that are based on the 3 domains of child development and the age ranges of the individuals that we work with. So when we work with a certain age range, we have to understand that they can and cannot do certain things, or certain tasks may be way too simple for them. So we have to find that sweet spot, or as Vygotsky says, the zone of proximal development, that helps them be able to do what it is that we want them to do. So for our final exam project, you will be reflecting on your current educational setting and the individuals you are working with so that you can best meet their needs based off of their age and their cognitive and physical and socially emotional domains where they are. So using your textbook, outside sources, graphics, illustrations, you are going to create a PowerPoint presentation addressing the following 6 prompts. So to present your PowerPoint, you are going to use Snagit to record yourself presenting your PowerPoint. So kind of like what I've been doing in the course so far. So I've been presenting information to you. You've seen my face a little bit, and then I flip my screen and I present things to you. And I make videos, and I do. You're going to do a very interactive presentation about what's developmentally appropriate for your educational setting. So you're going to be using Snagit to record yourself presenting, and then you're going to upload the video file to your own personal YouTube channel. Now, the reason we're using YouTube is it's free, and it's a really easy way for you to upload all your videos to where you don't have them all saved on your computer. And it's also really easy to share a YouTube link and not to have to worry about privacy settings. Like, you can change the privacy settings, but it makes it really, really simple. Now, some of you might be saying, well, YouTube might not work for my school. I know some schools have YouTube blocked. If you are one of those people, I can work with you and we can get you something set up in Google to where you can also share your videos as well. So I'll work with you if you have an issue with that. But YouTube is my number one choice because it holds bigger files and it just works better most of the time. So you're going to create your own YouTube channel, and you're going to post the Snagit YouTube link and PowerPoint to the assignment folder and to the discussion board for us to access. So one of them is for me to grade you, and then one is for the discussion board conversation that we're going to be having. So here are your 6 prompts that you're going to have for your DAP, your Developmentally Appropriate Practice project. So the first thing in your PowerPoint, you got to tell us about your educational setting. So you're going to describe it, you're going to describe whom you are working with, and the age range that you are working with. So give us some background about what it is that you're doing and who you are working with. Then you're going to think about that age range and that population on the physical domain level. So you're going to have to describe some of the physical abilities of the individuals you are working with based on their age range. Now, I know a lot of people that teach adolescents are like, well, they can do pretty much everything an adult can do. But be a little bit descriptive. What is it that they can do? And what is it that early childhood children can do that maybe infants and toddlers can't do? And you could go back and look at those physical milestones, fine gross motor skill charts in the younger grades to kind of get some ideas if you're not quite sure what to write with that. So you're going to describe the physical milestones, and these bullets really just kind of elaborate on this main bullet right here. So describe the physical abilities, describe the physical milestones, and then break it down into fine and gross motor skills. And then based on your educational setting and age range, you're also going to describe 3 or more physical activities you could do with these individuals in age group. So based off of what they can do, what could you use in your setting with them? And then the next prompt is about the cognitive domain. So in the cognitive domain, you're just going to describe the abilities of the individuals you're working with based off of what we've learned, and you're going to describe their milestones. So it just kind of depends. And I always think Piaget when I think cognitive abilities. So then you're going to describe Piaget's theory of cognitive development. And with this, you're going to use graphics and illustrations and charts to help you explain the theory or concept. And you're going to describe what stage of Piaget's theory these individuals are at. And then you're going to describe 3 or more strategies, methods, and activities that are developmentally appropriate for this age group and individuals and explain why they're appropriate. Now, when I say describe 3 or more strategies, methods, and activities, that does not mean you have to have 9 examples. You only have to have 3. So it could be a strategy, a method, and an activity, or 3 strategies or 3 methods. Just 3 examples is enough. And then we go into Bandura and his social cognitive and social learning theory. So again, you're going to have the graphics and illustrations and charts, and then you're going to have 3 examples of things that are developmentally appropriate that you could do with your population that you're working with. And then we go on into Vygotsky, and you're going to describe his social cognitive and social cultural learning theory. And you have your graphics and your illustrations to help you explain it. And then you're going to have 3 or more strategies, methods, and activities that are appropriate. And then with his zone of proximal development. So Vygotsky has 2 separate parts because he has 2 separate things that are really important in education. So you're also going to talk about the zone of proximal development. And you're going to have graphics and illustrations to help you explain it. And then you're going to explain why using his ZPD is appropriate for your age group. Why is it appropriate in general? And then also the concept of scaffolding. Describe what that is. And then explain how you could use how scaffolding is appropriate for your age group and individuals that you're working with. And then last but not least in the cognitive domain is Skinner's operant conditioning. So you're going to have graphics, illustrations, and charts to help you explain the theory or concept. And then 3 or more strategies that you could use in your educational setting. So those could be things like methods, strategies, activities, behavior management, whatever it might be that you could use in your educational setting. And then the 4th prompt is about the social emotional domain. Now in here you're going to describe the social emotional abilities of the individuals you are working with based on their age range and describe any social emotional milestones for them. And then describe Erikson's psychosocial theory and have graphics, illustration, charts that help you explain the theory. And then describe what stage of Erikson's theory these individuals are at. And then how this stage affects how you will work with them because they're all in the middle of their own crisis. And then also describe 3 or more strategies, methods, and activities that are appropriate and explain why. And then last but not least in social emotional is moral development. So describe what moral development is. And then explain how moral development can affect how you work with the individuals you work with. And then 3 or more strategies, methods, and activities that are appropriate for teaching moral development with your students or using concepts of moral development with your students. And then last but not least, your conclusion. So in the conclusion, you are going to just wrap up what you have said in prompts 1 through 4, and then make sure that you state your educational setting and age group again and emphasize why it's so important to use developmentally appropriate practices. And then the very last prompt you have are your references. And you're going to have reference slides. It does say a reference slide, but depending on how many you use, you may have more than one, where you provide APA citations for all the sources you used in the presentation. Now, it is very, very important that you do not accidentally plagiarize when it comes to this presentation. Because a lot of times when we plagiarize, we may not realize that we're doing it, but we have to be careful when we're paraphrasing or summarizing somebody else's words. It's always better to have an in-text citation than to not have one and accidentally plagiarize. So anytime that we use someone's words verbatim, we need to make sure that we use quotation marks and that we have a citation. And then anytime we get an idea or a concept or something from somebody, we should always have an in-text citation for that as well. And to help you with this, there is Al Purdue, which is an APA citation helper. Now, be careful when you use things like citation machine and citation generator, because they will mess up. And being in a master's program, it is very important that you can write and use APA correctly. So this is an online resource that you can use that is very, very helpful. And it has in-text citations, the basics for authors, and it shows you how in-text citations should be set up and how to use short quotations and long quotations. And it shows you how to set up citations. And then also there are things about your reference list. So it tells you how to do that as well. And a lot of you will probably use electronic sources, so this would be a good one for you to know. So just making sure that you are having everything set up. Now, the last part of this document is the rubric. Now, the rubric is very, very long because each part, each one of those bullets has its own separate section. So the most important thing is that you can explain clearly how these theorists and these domains affect the people that you're working with. And then also that you're uploading it to Snagit, you're paying attention to your APA, your grammar, and your mechanics, you're putting it in the discussion board, things like that. So as long as you do that, you will get your points. So if you have any questions about this project, as I told you, it's very individualized in nature. So it's all based off of your current educational setting, and all of you are coming from different educational settings, some similar, but all of you kind of have different things. So I am very willing to talk out some of these things with you, which would be very helpful if you need it. And just email me and let me know, and we'll set up however we need to just kind of hash out and talk out some things and getting some ideas flowing. So if you need me, please email me and let me know.